In today's economic environment, cattle producers are looking to maximize the performance of each animal. Not only do sick cattle represent lost productivity and increased labor, the financial impact can be devastating. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter introduces us to a North Carolina producer who believes sound on-arrival treatment protocols are the key to his operation's long-term success.
For more than 40 years, Gilbert Clark has had a successful cattle growing and backgrounding operation in North Carolina.
We never had a load turned down. We've always prided ourselves on having cattle that were to please the customer, and that's one thing we zeroed in on, was trying to please the customer. We wanted him to be happy.
Gilbert Clark has a wealth of information. He is an excellent businessman, he's an excellent cattle person, and he's managed cattle, and he's adapted through all different kind of changes in the cattle industry.
Clark buys most of his cattle from livestock marketing facilities, so he has to have an effective health program in place. The commingling of cattle can often create a higher risk for problems like BRD.
In Gilbert's operation, because of the type of cattle that we deal with here, a large percentage of them are what we classify as high-risk cattle. In other words, there's high risk that they're going to come down with respiratory disease if we don't intervene quickly and effectively and get cattle started correctly and get them started right.
It's very important to have a good vaccination program. It's very important to have a good treatment program. If their cattle are such that they're high risk on arrival, a good metaphylaxis program. So when you look at an organization like Clark Farms and seeing what they're able to get done with high-risk cattle that a lot of people have difficulty managing because of the BRD problems that they bring with them. You know, that's how Gilbert and his family make their living, is taking the risk out of those cattle and passing them on to somebody else that can take them to finish.
We put a lot of emphasis on nutrition, and we put a lot of emphasis on our health program, and I think if you got a good nutritional program and you got a good health program, I think you're on the road to success.
Staying on the cutting edge is important because BRD control and treatment strategies have advanced in recent years. At Clark Cattle Farm, they've come to trust Draxxin from Pfizer Animal Health as a key part of the operations on-arrival protocol.
And using Draxxin, we've seen an improved health in the cattle. And if you can keep a calf healthy and keep him eating, he's going to perform a lot better, he's going to gain a lot better, and when he gets to wherever he's going, if it's a background calf, he'll perform better for that individual also. I'd recommend these products to anybody that wanted to get them. You don't find a drug that will last 12 to 14 days, and you're still getting some coverage from it.
Utilizing a product that is effective against Mycoplasma bovis in cattle that are at risk for respiratory disease, and particularly to that particular pathogen, that particular bug, if you will, those things that can be happening subtly before we can even identify it clinically and intervene on an individual or a pen-wide basis.
Draxxin has really made a big difference in our ability to get these calves started off on the right foot real quick. It's BQA friendly, it's not hard on cattle, that's real important, and it has a long effective half-life. So those are all really positive attributes that have really been beneficial here.
Draxxin delivers a full course of therapy in a single dose, providing producers with a unique solution to potentially improve profitability by reducing mortalities and chronics.
We've seen a decrease in death loss. We just haven't lost many cattle. 0.4% out of 1,200 is not too bad. If you think about it, you treat one animal, it costs you about $18 to treat one animal, okay? You save that animal, and that animal probably cost you about $500.
It's probably the best job that I've seen in 18 years working with, as far as reducing morbidity. Our mortality levels are very good. We've had very little problems, and with the last 1,200 starts of these high-risk calves, we've used Draxxin, and it's been very impressive.
Of course, some cattle in high-risk situations may require additional treatment. For these cattle, Clark uses Exceed sterile suspension from Pfizer Animal Health to improve the health of his cattle.
With Draxxin, we have up to 14 days therapeutic benefit, whether that's on arrival or individual treatment. With Exceed, we have arguably 7 days.
Draxxin has done an excellent job for us. Exceed has been one of the best treatment drugs that we could use, and we use both of them extensively. In fact, that's about all we use right now. Both of them work real fine for us. When you go through as many cattle as I have been through in the past 30 years, and you get something that works like Draxxin works or Exceed works, boy, it just makes your day. I mean, before we started using Exceed, I won't never forget it, or Draxxin. We had a bunch of cattle and we treated them with everything known to mankind. They did not respond to anything. Then after that, we started using Draxxin, and we hadn't had another one of them. We hadn't had another one of them wrecks since then.
To get started on their own program, producers should work with their local veterinarian to establish a protocol that meets their operation's individual needs.
It is important that you have people that you trust and that are, I would say, relatively unbiased. You know, they look objectively at what you're doing and help you make decisions that you can live with. You know, it's not my job to make the ultimate decision for Gilbert Clark, but it is my job to give him objective information to help him make a decision.
Veterinarians can bring so much more to the table than I think still today many cattlemen don't realize. Give it a try. Call up your veterinarian and say, hey, whether it's let's have lunch and talk about it, or you're actually on a consultant basis and your veterinarian's paid by the hour, regardless of how that arrangement is set up, they can bring information to you that will impact the bottom line of your relationship. And I can't say that enough.
The bottom line is there's potential value in using products that provide extended protection with one treatment, and in economic times like these, fewer retreatments can make a big difference.
Anytime we handle an animal, there's a particular amount of stress involved. With good stockmen, good cattlemen out there, we minimize that in the way that we handle those cattle, but there's still a stress involved. So if we have a product that we can administer and get a full course of therapy with one injection, that gives us 7, 10, in the case, for example, of Draxxin, up to 14 days benefit of therapeutic effect. We achieve better response rates, lower death loss, lower chronicity or need to retreat animals, just with that one injection.
It just freed us up so we could do more things when we didn't have to go to pens and bring cattle out and have these cattle at the barn and had to treat them and all, and we just liked it like that. We can't say enough for the drug. We like it. And I guess if I told the boys, I said, boys, we're gonna go start using another drug, I guess they would shoot me.
Reporting from North Carolina, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about Draxxin or any other Pfizer cattle products, just log on to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.